All right, we're back. So we are looking at this. We're gonna do this process section. So we got another watermark logo here. So now we just got to figure out how we want to do this for mobile. Number one, I don't think these circles are gonna make the cut. It's just with the real estate that we have on mobile, this would be too much. So when we go down to mobile, these are the types of things that we remove when we just don't have enough room and it just creates more clutter than we need. So these are just design elements. They add nothing to the context or the meaning of the site. So we can take these away without taking away from like the core function of the website, which is to inform. I mean, if we took rid of these texts, the words, these are important visual cues to kind of convey to people. We don't want to take this away. But we can take away this because it has nothing to do with anything. So let's go ahead and get started. I think I'm just going to I'm going to keep the ones, I'm going to keep the numbers, and I'm just going to keep the card. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep the cards. So our HTML, we got this guy here. So let's target him. What do we got? Watermark 2. So let's get started with that process. Watermark 2. So the first thing we want to do is give it its opacity, which is 5%. And then we're going to rotate this guy. What is it? Let's say 20 degrees. Which way is he facing? Okay, facing away. So yeah, I think that's fine. And then we're going to get, since I'm going to make this position absolute, that watermark, we get, oh, I'm wrong. I need to make process position relative, so I can make watermark 2 position absolute, and I can place it within process. So we're going to go, actually I also want to do overflow hidden, because I'm going to punch it off to the corner off screen, and I don't want it to overlap the section in front of it. I just want it to get cut off. That's what overflow hidden does on whatever container you have. If you have this set, anything that overflows the container will be hidden. So let's tuck this guy up. Let's do -50. Let's see where that takes us. And I want it to stay put. I don't want it to go with the screen as it grows. So we're going to do that little trick again, where we do left 50%, and we do margin left. Let's do 100 and see where that pushes it. So we're going to push it to the middle, 50%, and then from there, the margin left positive will take us to the right. We'll also push it to the right of center. Negative margin left will push it to the left. So we're going to push this to the right, and that's too far. So we're going to go 40. Nah, that's too far. We're going to go 10. That looks pretty good. Now, let's see. Oh, that's why, yeah, because we noticed got this little cutoff here that shouldn't be happening. But what's happening is, so construction, this is part of construction, and construction has a padding bottom of 50. So we're going to go back up here. Padding bottom 0. And that'll fix that. That'll bring it back to where it should be. So I think we can go a little more. So now we're going to start going to the negative territory, -20. That looks okay. It might be a little a little big. I think it's taking up too much space. So how big is it right now? We're at 372 wide. So I'm just going to make this width, let's say 250. Let's make that a little, yeah, that's a little better. I didn't like how it was overlapping the header and the text. That just seemed too busy. So let's take this up a little more just to let it breathe a little bit. Negative 30. No, I want to go more. So 10. I want to go more to the right. Yeah. Let's go higher. 80. No, I don't like that. Back to 60. I think that's okay. I think that's all right. And the other option is to not even have it. So we've got this here. Do we need this? No, but let's see what it looks like without it. So that's without. I mean, it still looks fine. But does that look more interesting? I think I'm going to keep it. And if we get some complaints about it, then yeah, I'll change it. But I think I like it. Just a little extra touch. So now we're going to get into these little cards, because this is already taken care of by the other headers that we have. So this is done. So let's get into this now. So they are all inside a card div. So let's get that together. So dot card. There we go. So process dot card. We're gonna have a box shadow. What is that shadow? There it is. Okay, yeah, and we got a border radius too. Might as well just take all these while we got them and put them right here. So that's gonna get us that far. So now we got to figure out our padding. So on here, let's see, if we hold Alt, we can see the, I guess the measurements from the edges of everything. So we got 48, 49. That's just a mistake on my end. It should just be even. So 48, 49, 50. So let's just say a healthy 48. That's too big for mobile. So let's play around with it. We want padding. So padding is the inside. Margin pushes out, padding pushes in. So I want to push in. And let's do 20 to see what that looks like. I don't like how close this is on the edges. This feels too tight. So I'm gonna do 30. That feels a little better. I like this. This feels like it has more room. All right, just to spread these guys out, we're gonna margin bottom 50 pixels, my favorite number. So right away, I mean, these are already starting to look better. These might be too big. Yeah, 26. What is this? 18. Let's see what this looks like as as 26. So take this H3. Let's see what this looks like. And the question of, is that too big? I don't think so on mobile. Usually you want your headers to be at least 1.5 times the font of your paragraph tag. So I would at least want this to be 8 pixels more than 16 pixels, which is the font. So 24. We're at 26. So yeah, I think that because it establishes visual hierarchy. So this is a heading. It's important. We don't want it to be too close in size to your p tags here. So I like that on mobile. That feels good. I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to do this one because it's supposed to go up here, but you know, obviously be cut off. So what do I want to do? What do I want to do? I could put it next to it, but then I'd have to change the HTML. And that would make it harder to style when we get to desktop. Because if I put it inside the H3, right, to put it next to the text, that would be more difficult to get this over the corner and then get this over into the corner. So it's just, let's see, maybe I just don't have it. Maybe I don't need it. Or it's just one of those where it sits on top. I think I'm going to do that. It's going to sit on top. I think I'm going to go for that. So let's do sub. Okay, sub. So process the card. That's sub. I want to make it bold. And then I want its color to be yellow. Font size. Let's do, I don't know, let's just see what 15 looks like. Why aren't you working? What have I done? Card, sub, span. And just yeah, I had to do span. Okay. So that's too small. 22. That's too big because this is 22, this is 26. This looks too close in size, so we're gonna go down to 19. 1, 2, 3. So I'm trying to go minimal. I'm removing the circle. Trying to be a little more subtle from mobile. I think that works. Do these pieces have margins? Yeah, these have margin on them by default. In my course style sheet, all my paragraphs have a margin bottom, so they space each other out nicely. So all of our we need to remove that. So all of our cards, p tags, I don't have a margin bottoms there. I'm going to reset that to 0 because I don't like that. There you go. See, that feels better. You don't want to have those awkward spacings at the bottom. You want to have everything kind of equally spaced or spaced with a purpose. So I think I'm just going to keep this, or I do it here. I think that's what I do. Yeah. I'm going to do this circle top middle. I think that's how it's going to work. So let's go ahead and get this font size 34. So 34. Obviously that's going to be our black, yeah, 0, 0. Okay. So one of the things we're going to do here to make that circle is we're going to make a pseudo element that's absolutely positioned. So we're going to do position relative. I'm going to go to my cheat sheet and grab my before for overlays. There we go. It's always good to have a little cheat sheet. So subspan. I'm just going to copy this. And before, copy my code for pseudo elements. So I just had this copy and pasted. You know, have your content set to blank, position absolute already, display block already, height, width 100%, everything's already. Background, we're going to change that to var primary, and we're going to set this. I'm not going to set it with Flexbox because I don't want it to mess with any other things I'm working with in there. So I'm just going to use my transformations. So instead of using Flexbox to position this, so here's my span, right? So I want this pseudo element to be centered on the span. So that's why we do position absolute. So we do top 50%, left 50%, transform translate, negative 50% on the x-axis, negative 50% on the y-axis. This is the standard old school way of centering things. So we're going to give this guy, that's already black, it's got its color. Okay, so let's just see, border radius, 50% to make that a circle. And we want to do z index of -1 because we want to be behind it. Whenever you use a z index like this on something, like a pseudo element on its element, you want to put z index 1, just so everything plays nice. So there, that's happening because we have it set to height 100%, width 100%. So we need it to be 70. And there's our circle that is placed absolutely in the center of the span right here. So now I want the span actually to be positioned absolutely because it's breaking the normal flow. So we're going to put this right here. So again, I don't want to mess around with Flexbox for this. I'm just going to do it the old school way. So card position relative, because an element inside of it will be positioned absolute. So this is this sub span. So on this sub, we're actually going to do position absolute, and we're going to do that left 50%, transform, translate x, negative 50%, and this centers it. This combo right here centers it horizontally, wherever it's in whatever container it's in. So when we do that, it goes to the center. Now I want this to go up, so we're going to go top negative. What is that? Let's say 50. Let's see what that does. Too much. Do 30. Nope. 20. Nope. I want it to be in the middle. 10. That feels good. That feels better. So now that we have this element up here, taking up space, what we want to do is we want to add more padding top and kind of give this more room to breathe on our card. So we have padding 30 pixels. Let's do 30, 30, 30. On our top one, this is top, right, bottom, left. Padding top, let's do this at 60. Let's double up. And that feels good. I think I want, this is too small. So you see how this cursor barely, it doesn't fit at all, but it fits up here. I just want to give it some more space so they look a little more equal. So let's try an extra 7 pixels. That feels good. But now that we have, like, it's shooting up some more, so this space is being closed in, so we got to add more margin bottom. So I want to add on the card, let's add an extra 30 pixels, push them down, darn it, 80. And that feels better. And we got to do that up top too. So how do I want to do it? So I got my card here. I think I'm just going to do it on the card, the first card. So copy and paste this. We're going to go above card. I like to use an nth of type. So the first type of card, so that's going to be this specific one. I'm going to do a margin top of 50. And I want to push some more. Let's do our 80 again. Let's do that. There you go. I like that better. We needed to create some space here. This was too close. So 1, 2, 3. But I don't know if you see this. I don't know if it's bothering you as well. We have a centered element for, horizontally with left align text. It doesn't really pull off very well. So I think let's try text align center. Yeah, I think I like that. That just has a better flow. Let's turn this phone off. It's 2 a.m. Why is this thing going off? So when you have like this flow, you don't want to have something centered and then you have to go over here to see the rest that's left centered. Same goes with your text. You don't want to have a heading that's centered and then text that's left aligned. That looks weird. Doesn't look right. Same thing here. You got something centered horizontally. If you have other things centered to the left, it breaks the normal flow of design. It's where your eye is going. Your eye line is coming down, and then all of a sudden, why are we breaking this? So we go from here, our eye line goes here to read, and then we're back to here, and then we have to go this way that's just where your eyes are drawn because it's left aligned. So it's just a lot of crazy darting back and forth when all you need to do is just have them centered so that your eye line stays right in the middle. It's not too busy. It doesn't tire your eyes out. It's just better visually. So that's how you have to think about some things. Like, where's your eye going to go? Where is it being directed? Where is the design guiding you? So on mobile, you want it to be as straightforward as possible, and that's why I decided I had to do this. It had to be centered after I decided to do this in the center. And I'm glad I kept the numbers. Makes it more visually interesting. We got that accent because there's just a bunch of white around here. So yeah, I'm glad we kept that one. So now we're going to go down. These are done. So what do we got next? Portfolio. Oh yeah, I got this. What did I do? Why did I do this to myself? So this thing here. This is going to take some planning. So let's close this off. We don't need you anymore. We're going to go to portfolio. And then after portfolio, it's footer. And we're all done with mobile after however many hours. There we go. All right, portfolio. So let's see what we got here. What are you? So I got these lines. I think these lines, I think they're coming from a line class I have in my core styles. Yeah, I got a line, so I think I just got to remove that. Core styles, find dot line. I don't need you, and that gets rid of that. No, that's testimonial. So right now I have no images. I think I need to add my images. So let me get this going really quick here. Oh, that's right. We set them as backgrounds. That's also going to make this, man, it's going to make this really tricky. I think I know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this going in mobile, and then I'm going to have I think I'm gonna do 3 squares, and they're gonna be on top of each other over this in the background with a button underneath everybody. Maybe I can do these guys. We'll see what this looks like. So number 1, to get Mr. Green right here, I think I'm going to do a pseudo element. So portfolio, let's just, I think I gotta add a height to my portfolio. Because it has nothing to give it any height other than this button. So let's just give it a background just to look at it. Black. So this is portfolio right now because this button is creating the space with its padding, but I want it to be higher. So I'm going to make, let's do 300. Is that enough? Too much. I think it's too much. 240. Because this, I want my pseudo element on this section here. So we're also going to do this position absolute or position relative. I'm going to write this guy. And we're going to go. So this is my cheat sheet. So we're going to go to overlay for my pseudo. I'm going to copy this and put that in there. Because you end up using the same code over and over again. It's like, why waste time? So this basically creates a before element that's 100% the width and height with a color. It's basically an overlay is what I usually use this for. So when I save, it's, it covers the entire section of whatever it is that I have. That's just my boilerplate pseudo element that I have made. So what I want it to do is I want it to be this green, right? So we can remove this. We know where our portfolio is, and I want this to be underneath the element. So we are missing the button. So I want this to be 1, and we put it on its parent index 1, so that it stays where it's at. Let's see if we don't have this. Let's see. Okay, we're still okay. I'm still going to keep that there. So I want to create space with these divs, but I'm going to transform, rotate. Let's try 20. Let's see what that looks like. Nope. -20. Oh, that is the angle. So you notice that it's cut off here. Well, it's because it's 100% of the width of its container, and that's where it stops. It doesn't keep going. So what we want to do is I want this to extend outside of the container for a while, so that no matter how big the screen gets, it just shows more of this. And I want it to be positioned in the center. So we do our left 50%. We want to do another transform. Translate x -50%. So this will set this left 50. This transform will center it. You probably won't notice anything. And then I also want it to be centered horizontally. So 50%. Let's just do the shorthand. Translate on the x-axis, on the y-axis. Let's do transform origin center. Let's see if that's causing it to look weird. This is it, and that's that. So, now it's just looking weird. 100%. So I think we're just gonna have to start positioning this because for some reason this is not. It's not exactly center. Maybe it's because of the rotate. is. Yeah, we want to translate it first and then rotate. So now it looks like it's in the center. Yeah, it's for some reason, I guess the order in which you do these transforms. I mean, you can do however many transforms you want in one transform, but I guess the order dictates how some of your elements play together. So think about, I didn't even realize that. So just think about that whenever you're using these. If something's not looking right, just switch up the order. Do what's most important first, which is centering it, and then the next thing, which is rotating it. So now I want to give this thing a width to extend past. So we're going to do, I don't want to use percentages. I want to do something wild. So let's do 1,000 pixels. And you'll see that it goes 1,000 pixels in this direction. And because our body has overflow hidden, when it crosses over the screen, it's hidden. And that's how I like to do these things. There's a number of ways to do these slants, but I like this way because we're going to do responsive. It's all messed up like this. But if we do so 320, I gotta turn my num lock off. 320. So this is where we are. When we grow the screen, it grows with it. We don't have to really worry about what we're doing with it, other than making it thicker or whatever you want. But it stays in its position and just grows. So you see what's happening here is we made something really long, and it's just hanging out outside the screen. And that's what we're doing. That's what that is. So now that I got this created, I think I want to add the images. So let's do portfolio. And we're going to do image, right? Yeah. So first we got to give them some mass, basically. So I want to do I want to do squares. So let's just do so we're dealing with a 320 wide screen. So I think 100 wide and 100 top. Right. So now that's pushing the button down. And they're probably display block. Yeah, so they're pushing everything down. What I want in this container, let's just give them a background so we can see them. Okay, so these are our blocks, right? This is the container. So what I want, actually, yeah, I'm going to show you a really a non-flexbox way to move things around. Just because I think it's going to make things easier for me. So we're going to set these to display inline block because I want them to be next to each other, right? So they're gonna stack themselves. Inline blocks behave like blocks, but they also can be inline next to each other. And you see this container. One of the interesting things you can do with inline blocks inside containers is if you do a text align property on it, it will apply to the blocks. So I'm going to do a container, and we're going to do text align center. And it should center these. Let's see, dot container. But it's not for some reason. Portfolio.image. Oh, that's because I got the dot image first. Why is that there? There we go. See, I'm not a liar. So it centers it. Now if we do left, it'll push them to the left, which is basically justify content flat start or justify content center. It's the same thing, but we're just using inline blocks. So you don't have to use flex for everything. You can do this little trick with inline blocks, and it's just, you know, it depends on what you want to use and when you need it. I don't really need flexbox for this. I can do the same thing in pretty much the same amount of code. So these look a little small, so I'm going to make them bigger. And you know what? I want to make them responsive. So when the screen gets bigger, I want them to get bigger. So we're going to do 45% width, height. I want it to be 45 view width, which is 45% of the view width. It's different than doing percentage because percentage will apply to its container. So 45% of whatever this width of the container is. But if you do view width, it will do 45% of the view width. So let's see what that looks like. So if we're going to do that, we also got to do this. Let's do view height. No. Well, if I want to do that because the container doesn't go 100%. So this, yeah, this will always be rectangular. So let's try percentage. Let's just see if this works. Yeah, that didn't work. Let's go back. Let's do view width. Let's set our container to width 100%. There we go. When we get rid of that padding, so now that our container, there you go. Where's our container at? There. That made it better. So now that we got, I see 135, 144, but this container is still not there. Why are you the way you are? Well, for some reason this isn't working as I usually work it. Because the container is not going. Oh, that's because, let's see, it's got to be, here's my container. Why aren't you going 100%? That's what I want to know. This is going 300. Why is this not extending? So, well, that's just one of the problems I'm dealing with here. So, whatever, I will do. I guess I'm not going to make them. Well, you know what? Who cares? I'm going to make these, because they are actually, they're oblong, like they're rectangles. So, you know, how about I just lean into that because it's not working the way I want it to work. So let's lean into it. Let's make some rectangles, but I want to make them smaller. Right? Let's see. Oops. Oh, sorry. So more. I think that works. I think that looks fine. So now let's add some margin around them. Instead of margin 0, let's do margin 5. Pushes them out. Now let's move them up. So I think I want container. I want it to be in the center. So let's center it. I think I got, yeah, position relative. So this should theoretically center it right here. So let's try that. I love it. Okay, but because, you know, making it position absolute takes it out of the normal flow of you know, of the HTML, this button is behaving like it doesn't exist. So let me see if there's a way. I mean, there's a way to do it without positioning it, because, you know, you want to avoid that wherever you can, because then I'm basically doing what a page builder does, which is absolutely positioning things. So I want to make sure, I want to try to stay within the normal flow. Our portfolio is, yeah, because see, we're dealing with something that's 240 pixels tall. So I think what I should do is I will set the height, instead of being 100% on the pseudo element, which is creating this at 240, let's just set it to 240, right? And then we set that, we remove this so that hopefully this is centered in it, right? So right now, this is our portfolio, and yeah, that stacks a little better. That's I'm not absolutely positioning something. So let's do that. Now let's give a little border radius on these guys. Radius. Let's just say 7 pixels. Let's do that. Yeah, and I think every 2, so 2 and 4. I'm gonna grab this. I want to target input type. I want to target number 2. Do a comma, and number 4. I want to stagger them, so I'm going to make them have a margin top of 30. Let's see what that does. No, that doesn't. No, that doesn't do what I want. It just pushes them both up. It pushes everybody. So instead, we're going to do transform. Translate Y, and we're going to take it 25 pixels down. There we go. See, that's kind of what I'm trying to do. It's going to happen to you a lot. You'll have your first idea. You'll try it out. Turns out it's stupid. That's okay. And then you think of the next best way to do it. Sometimes things don't really plan out the way you want to in your head, or maybe some of the things you're using just aren't working. But that's okay. You go with it and you figure out, okay, what can I do next? Well, I can use translate. I can just move these two individually and translate them 25 pixels from their relative position down. And that does the same thing. That does what I want. I want to make these whiter, actually. I want to make you guys bigger and longer. Let's do 52. Yeah, I like that. And then this button, what we're going to do, since we already have the container here, let's just add a margin bottom of, let's see, so we got this thing overlapping. So instead of 50, let's say 60. And that looks fine. So we got this, but I don't like how, so this is going over it more than this, right? This looks unbalanced. So what I want to do now is I'm going to move the pseudo element. So I'm going to go into the Y position right here, and I'm just going to hit my up and down on the arrow key. So this is another useful way to use your dev tools to find the correct position. Is to just click on the value and use your arrow key up or down and move things in the browser. So I like this. So 65%. So right here on our pseudo element, instead of being -50 to center it on the y-axis, we're going to do -65% because apparently that's what that looks like, and that looks a lot better. So we're going to do that. Now let's get some images in here. So we already got this. Let's just take this. So we want the first one to have, let me just get my background cheats. So yeah, just have this on hand. Why copy and paste? You can copy and paste it instead of having to type it out every time. And I end up using the same code for everything. So background size, cover. So you want it to cover the entire container. We want it to be centered, and we don't want it to repeat every time. Whenever you do backgrounds, every time, these guys. So let's look. So we want that one, that one, that one. All right, let me just go to the image gallery really quick here. we're gonna get it is looks like it's image 10. So and we're gonna use the regular one. Let's see. So that's gonna be that. Copy 2, 3, 4. So we got that kitchen. I'm just looking off screen. You don't need to see this. Image 5. And then we got that dining room area. That's going to be a 15. And then 4, that's going to be the greenhouse. Where are you? Where are you at? That's going to be 7. So when we go here, there's our images. Now, if I didn't do it this way, if I didn't do background images, I would have to go out and I'd have to make individual cuts to this aspect ratio. So it'd have to be like 120 by 166. And I'd have to go out and have to do that. I'd have to crop all those images. And I'd have to actually double it. So I'd have to do like 240 by 342. I don't know. But so that it's a higher resolution. So that when I do scale up to tablet, I can use that too, and then have a 120 version for mobile. There's just multiple different versions. It's annoying. So this way, I can make any size I want. If I wanted to change the widths or heights, I can do it, and I don't need to get new images. So since these are going to be changing a lot, I'd rather just use them as background images. I mean, feel free to critique that, but it's just for this gallery, for what it is being used for and what it is doing, I feel like it's easier. And there's way too much space up here. Am I missing something? Yeah, our portfolio. Where's our portfolio? Did I forget that? I did. So let's grab an H2 and a span from up here. Here we go, H2 and a span. I knew it felt empty. So we'll put this underneath all of our bubbles. So our portfolio. What else does it say? See our work. There we go. And yeah, left aligning it doesn't look too weird, but I still want it centered. So, so that's going to be at the top. So why I'm scrolling up instead of just adding it at the bottom is because you want to have your CSS in the order that things appear in your HTML. So it's going to be one of the first things. So we got our portfolio, pseudo element, that's first, container, I guess that's first. Image is right here. It's above the image, so we're going to go right here. And we're going to do yeah, portfolio. Let's see, portfolio, H2, and portfolio. What's that span called? Yellow span. I need text align center. Okay, I gotta set display block so that it will stretch. There we go. But why do you have a margin bottom? Oh, just because of the span. So in my global CSS, I have spans at margin bottom 20, so let's just get rid of that. That's just completely unnecessary in this build. So I have that because I want my paragraphs to have that margin bottom. So let's just have, let's remove this and just have my P's. I'll start up here. Have my P's have the margin bottom separate so that everyone else kind of has the same deal here. That's better. So this is looking pretty good. Actually, you know what? I'm actually pretty happy with how this is looking. But there's too much space here. Too much. So we have our margin bottom on the card, creating extra space, plus our paddings. So one thing you want to do when you do margin bottoms like that, so go back up the process. I know it's on a card, margin bottom. So on every card, I want that margin bottom, except for the last of type. The last type of card, I want margin bottom 0. See, and that closes the gap better. And I feel like that, even though this is 100 pixels, I still feel like that is a pretty good space. I like that space. Let's close this off. So even if I do top of 0, if I remove that space, I mean, it still looks fine. But I think for this particular section, I think it works having that extra space. Just because we have like this line, I don't know. I for some reason this feels better. Feel free to disagree, but I feel like I can get away with a little extra space here. We got our view portfolio. Do I do the lines or not? To do the lines or not? I think I do the lines. I think they'll look good. Yeah, I think they'll look good. So let's add a margin bottom. Imagine more extra work for myself here. Let's add some more space. Because we're going to have a line come in here, so we don't want it too close to this. So let's do another 20. Is that even working? Yeah, okay, yeah, I guess it's just, yeah. All right, I think that's enough. So, line top. That's the one we're going to be dealing with here. So, it is at the top of everything, so I think it's going to be at the top of container. So we're going to do, let's just start with dot line. Because I want this to be repeated. I'm going to do it again on the bottom, so let's just do it once with, let's create it with the line so that we have both of them, and then we position them with the top and bottom. So let's create it once with the line. So we're going to do height, let's just say 10 pixels. Width, again, let's do something crazy like 500. Border radius. So I guess that depends on if it's going to go this way. So it would be, yeah, we're going to do, so this tends to be 5 pixels, and then 0, 0, and 5 pixels. I think we'll see how that's going to look. Cause if it's going to be, it's going to start flat, right? So I want the first border right here on the top left to be 5 pixels. Obviously, we don't need it here, don't need it here, and 5 pixels here, so we can get that curve, and then we rotate it 20 degrees and push it over here. So I'm going to do a transform, rotate, negative 20 degrees, just like this little dude. And just so that we can see it against the background, we're going to, the background pseudo element, we're going to do black. Do position absolute. Do we have relative? Yes. So absolute. And then I'm going to do the top. So I want the first one to be top 0. Where are you? we get our height, width, got our background. Oh, it's process. Portfolio. So what happens when you code at, what is it, 2:30 in the morning now. So there it is. You see how it makes that that little circle at the side, rounds that off. So now what we do, since we have our line here, so we got our top. Let's just up or down. Yeah, we're gonna go down. I want it to go all the way over here. And what does it look like? We got, okay, so it goes here and then with a pseudo. So it goes, what is that? It's not gonna tell me. Okay, so we're just gonna take a guess here where we want it. I think that's a good spot. So the top 152. And again, because I want to position this to stay where it's at, we're going to do my favorite little trick. Left 50%, margin left. Let's do 100. Let's see what that does. So that pushes it that way. Now let's, 152 pixels. Okay, so now that we're pushing it, it's changing its position. So let's bring this in however much we want it, which is, I think that's good enough. And then we got to bring it back up. And that's good. Yeah, see, when we change our position left or right, it changes what it looks like it's at for the top. So if we make this go to the left or to the right, it kind of changes its top. It changes the way it looks from its top value. So I like it right there. So now we can give its background the same green right here. Oh, yeah. Here we go. All right, let's see, is 53. Why is that negative 53? Where did you go? There you are. Oh, that's right. I messed up. I forgot to do the top. So if this is 53, this is going to be right there, 78. Yeah. I know some of you may be asking, why, Ryan? Why are you coding at 2:30 in the morning so that you can make mistakes and waste my time? Well, everybody's asleep, and it's actually quiet in this house. So there we go. So I actually have time to do this. Very hard when you got two kids, one 5, and both of them are very aware of their vocal cords and like to use them. There we go, we got our green. So now we got our bottom down here, right? Except bottom, the round end is on the wrong end. So we want to target bottom. And we want to change its border radius. So now we want it to be, let's see, so it's going to be 0, 5, 5, 0. So 0, 5 pixels, 5 pixels, 0. All right, and we're going to do our favorite little trick. Copy and paste here, but our margin left is going to be like negative 200. Even more than that, because we got a ton of a line here. So let's go 3. 4. Okay, now we're talking here. All right, so how much do I want? I want it to look roughly even to that. So that looks like enough. So negative 534. And then I think we're going to come from the bottom on this one. So bottom, let's just see what 20 looks like. I don't know. Definitely not that. So bottom is going to be I think that there went, yeah, I think that looks good. So I'm just making sure that this and this look the same. And because this is overlapping the Z index, good one. What is that? Bottom 158. There you go. So now we got these guys, and we want to add their little accents, right? So we're going to go back to my cheat sheet. There's our standard pseudo element background deal, and I think I'm going to add them to. Do I want to add it to the line, or do I want to add them individually? I think I'm going to add them to the line. So line already has a position on it, so we don't need to add one. Oh wait, dummy. I'm going to do before, right? And there, I like it all lined up. So we're going to make this yellow. Okay, so there's that. So now we want the same border radius as its parent. Right, so now we got that. And we want it to be offset. So we're going to make it go up. Let's do 4 pixels. Okay, and then we want it to go in. So let's do 5 pixels. That pushes in. Let's push it in some more. Let's do like 8. And let's do one more at 5. And then since it's on top, we want it to go underneath. Z index -1. I hate this. Now I gotta figure this out. Every time, I always run into this issue. Sometimes my pseudo elements don't behave nicely. So this is position absolute. If I make this 10, no. Why aren't you doing what I want you to do? I run into this issue, I don't know, maybe once or twice a month when I have pseudo elements or somebody that does not want to go where I want it to go. So what I'm going to do instead, because this doesn't, let's see, is this on top too? Yeah, that's on top too. Because this doesn't want to behave. So I'm just going to make, the yellow the green, and I'm going to change the green to yellow. It's all going to make sense. So we're going to change this. So you see how I just changed which ones were on top. So now I just got to get rid of the top and left. So they're on top. I want it to go. So I want it to go down. So let's do top 5, left, -8. So it kind of creates that. So now I got so I gotta take my line. I gotta take my whole line and I gotta shift it again. So we're gonna go up. There we go. Yeah. So 73. So now our top 73. There, and that's solution. So I don't have to keep racking my brain. We just flip-flopped them based on who was on top. So now we gotta go to here, to our bottom. So I think it'll be easier if we just get rid of where's our images? Let's get rid of this. Or maybe I need that. I think I need that. It's creating my space. Yeah, it's creating my space there. So what I want to do is just for okay. Visibility, let's hidden. That's better. Visibility, it just removes it from being seen, but still keeps it in the normal like flow of things. So now I just gotta fix this. So I want. So this green is the before. And so I want this. Where's my other one? Top before. There is line before. So if this is where we're at, the line. What have I'm just gonna make these 0. Okay, so that's on top. That's on top. So I want to change the border radius for green, which is going to be here. Hey, there we go. So it's going to be 0, 5 pixels, 5 pixels, 0. Portfolio line before. So it looks like it's not specific enough. Or the green. Let's see. Oh, the green is what I need to make. There, that's better because that was the pseudo element now. I know this is so confusing now. 100% zoom in. There we go. Okay. Why did I design this? This is so stupid. Okay, so now that I got my before, so now I want to go 5. Now I want to go up 5. No, up 5. Because I want it to be closer. And then I want it to go -8. Right? Because I want it to go down. No, so I want it to go forward. I'm just trying to do the opposite of this. So now we got that. So now we touch on yellow. And then we got to change its bottom. And there, but I think this is uneven. I think I got to bring it in a little more margin left. And bottom. That looks about right. Okay. So portfolio bottom, margin left, 542. And a bottom of 150. Oops. I I just gotta fix what I did because I'm stupid. All right. I didn't want to bring. Yeah, I want to bring it in more. There you go. Okay, let's say that looks pretty cool. I think I gotta bring it up one more. There you go. I think that looks about even. So bottom 149, 545. Boom. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so now we got these guys. And that was a pain in the ass. Part of me still doesn't understand what I did, but I did it. And welcome to programming. Sometimes you're not going to know why it works or what the hell you did, but the end result is what you want it to be, and you just got to wash your hands of all logic and enjoy it for what it is. So now we got that. Let's bring back our images from being hidden. So that's what it looks like. But these guys, because this pushed them down, and I don't like that, but I needed space to create for here, so looks like what I have to do. So this pushed down so that there was space between these two, right? But that ended up pushing down our images, which now they're no longer centered and they don't look nice. So I think what I have to do is on the container, maybe I can do a margin top. I try to use as little transforms as possible if I don't need to use them. Let's just try a negative value for margin. Okay, that doesn't do it. So I need to, sometimes margin top, it's just basically, it's like you're pulling yourself up. So instead of pushing the people away from you, a negative margin value brings them closer. It brings you closer. So let's just get rid of that. Transform, translate line, -50. And that, because when I did the margin thing, it kind of messed up the spacing inside the portfolio section, which messed up the spacing for everything. So transform just seemed like the easiest solution, and I think I can do a little more. Let's do 55. I think that looks fine. I'm just taking it all in right now. So obviously, we're not going to have the bubbles right now like this. These crazy bubbles that are over here. We're not doing that. Not on mobile. That's just unnecessary right now. But I try to keep the spirit alive, right? So I kind of like that actually. I was really nervous going into mobile and seeing how the hell I was going to do it, but I kind of like it. I think my buttons look off. Are they off? 18, Roboto, black, 18 Roboto, yeah. I don't know, I guess that just looked weird for me for some reason, but I don't like this space, that's too much. Because we transformed 55 pixels up. So I think we got to remove the container's margin bottom. So since we moved 55 up, this margin bottom 60 is basically negated, right? So now that feels better. But damn it, these things got all screwed up. Damn it. So it looks like I need that. Okay, so everything is contingent on everything looking the way it looks right now. So I could do this. I could do this and just redo. Okay, so we got that. I just got to redo these. So we're going to change the top value. Well, if we do that, then that just looks too close now. This looks too close, so that means I'm gonna have to add more margin, which further pushes this away. Okay, I think I can live with this. So I'm on 124. Welcome to the wonderful world of CSS, everybody. This is just, once you start getting some complicated designs, a bunch of moving pieces that have to all kind of play nice together, this is what happens. Let's see, so that's going to be 55 up top, 55, and then we need to move our bottom down. That looks good, 131. But then again, these mother... all right, this container is going to come up some more. Where are you at? Container. Let's do another 65, 60, 65. Let's do 75. Okay, so this feels better. I can live with this. We got our space here, away from our lines. These look real. I'm actually going to do a little more. Let's do 82. That feels better. So got these. We got a little extra space here. So let me try that margin top on this button. Actually, let me try that. Yeah, let's try. So it's the last one. It's the last element in this section. So we're going to do portfolio. Let's do that A tag. Let's do margin top negative 15. Let's see if we can see this in action. Not one. Yeah, so it brings it closer. It brings everything else closer. I hate life right now. I'm just going to translate it. Translate. Now I'm just going to physically move it 15 pixels from its position. So at the bottom, you see what this green line is? That's where it normally would be, but I translated it 15 pixels up to bring it closer because I didn't like where that was. Too much gap. So now I'm going to shave that off with the padding bottom. So, because there's too much space here between these two, it's way too much of a gap. So we're going to go back to our portfolio section. So this is this, and we're going to get rid of our padding bottom. And that'll bring these closer together, and I can live with this spacing. This looks fine. But now, so we got this up here, but it's not the same down here, right? We want balance. So if I'm going to create this space here, actually, then I need to have that there. So let's see. Maybe I just need to look at it again. Because you see we got this, so we have to have this on the bottom. And it just feels like that's too much space, so it's 50, 50, and 15, 50, and 50. So maybe if I took it down, because we got, this is 50 pixels plus 15 translated. So that's actually 115 instead of 100, which is here, which is why it kind of looks off. So let's shave off 15. Let's do 35 pixels. And it's better. I think it'll look even better after I have to center this. So now that that's done, let's get our portfolio. Let's get our testimonial section going. Okay. So I want testimonials, testimonials. I want my H2s, and I want my .yellow span. Display block, text line center. Oh, there are views. Yeah. That's why. There, see. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it so centered here, centered. So we're just gonna keep that centered going. And the annoying SVGs that just won't collapse. So we're just gonna get rid of these. So these are stars. It's got 5 SVGs. So what I need to do now is I need to target these SVGs and I need to space them. So we're gonna do views stars. I gotta target that container. Do I want to use flex? Yeah, why not? I'm gonna use flex on this one. Justify content center, line items, center. And then I want to set the width for all of these guys. So SVG width, what, 30 pixels? There they are. But you know, one of the problems with Flexbox and using like images or SVGs, you see these? You see this shit right here? I think I have to set explicit height. So one of the problems with Flexbox, especially on Safari, you have to watch out. If you're using images in a Flexbox, you have to set its height and width because Safari will stretch them for whatever reason, because Safari is the new Internet Explorer and they are just bugging the crap out of me. So yeah, you gotta set your height and width for Flex images. I think, is this too big? And these are pointy, and these are not pointy, but that's okay. That's just what I grabbed from Flat Icon. Looks like there's no space between them. Okay, stars. So we got all this text. I really, let's see. So these are all centered. Okay, so stars, let's give it a margin bottom. 40. Well, this testimonials, I feel like we need more space. It says more space between the testimonials and the actual testimonial and the stars. So I think I want to do let's add a margin top. Too much. Yeah, too much. Just right, I think that's fine. So now we gotta do reviews. P, and we're gonna center this. Because you don't want to have so you got text line center here, you got this centered. To keep this to be a left line, again, it's just it doesn't, like, if let's take it off, I'll show you, explain it. It doesn't look right. Like either everything has to be aligned left or everything has to be aligned down the center. But yeah, I don't usually like especially on mobile, I don't usually like doing big text groups, text align center. But I mean, it just makes sense to keep, for mobile at least. So, bitch, what happened here? What are you guys doing? Why are you doing this to me? Is it because it's because I changed the padding. God bless it. So I changed the padding which changed the height and width, the height of the section, which changed, well, how these things play nice. Okay, all right. Here we go. All right, we're not going to take 15 off of portfolio. There we go. Back to where you are. We are going to take 15 off of reviews. Padding top is, instead of being 50, will be 35. So that we close that gap better, and these guys stay where they are. This is what happens when you try to do something nice, right? It's just, you have things that are too dependent on the spacing of other things, and you just run into a big mess. But that's what I did to myself. But it looks nice. So what am I going to do with these guys? I don't think it's going to look right if I go from centered. And then if I have if I make this left aligned, it doesn't make design sense. Like, why am I breaking the rule? But I also got these, but because they're longer. So because these are heavier text headings, they're left aligned, so I can get away with it. But because these are single line text, it makes sense to have them centered. So I think I just gotta have it. I gotta have it centered. So we're gonna keep that, and then we're gonna make this. So what are you, 18 bold? So what are you? You are name. So we're gonna do okay. So name. What is that font size? 18 and bold. And font weight, bold. Cool. So now we're gonna do text align center. Is this a span? Yeah, it's a span. So we have to set it to display block if we want to do anything to it. Okay, and what's our line here? Oh, that's right. I gotta make this up here and 53. So let's do 50. Let's do margin top 50. So now what we're gonna do again, we're gonna create this circle in the back. Give me the circle. There it is. So we're gonna do this at 40%, 40 by 40%, 40 by 40. Cool. So let's use our overlay code. So we're gonna do. We gotta make this position relative because I'm gonna be absolutely positioning a pseudo element to it. There's our pseudo, right? And I want it to be centered. I could do flex. I could do my way. Let's just do. Flex. Justify content center. Line items center. That'll center it. We're going to do border radius 50% to make it a circle. We're going to do opacity of 0.4 and do this. And get rid of this. You don't need that because we're positioning it by flex. Height and width are going to be 40 pixels. And there it is. but you'll notice that it's on top. So now we're gonna do Z index -1, and there you go. That's how you make that. Looks pretty good. Let's see, how much space do we want? 65 pixels. Well, if we go, darn it, from the ellipse to here is 73, but we want to go from here. Let's just say about 60. What is this? Oh, I think we get that from the stars, actually. Yeah, pattern margin top 60. Oh, it's already 60 anyway, so I guess it's good. Yeah, we keep that same, 60 here, 60 here, 60 there. Why are you right here? Oh, that's right. They're on top of each other. So so if we got 60 up, see 50 up there, so I want 50 down here. So we're going to do the testimonials or the reviews button. Yeah. And that'll push that up. That'll have our testimonials right there. So that's it for that. Everything still looks good. And here we are to the footer. Awesome. So this is it. That's all we got. I think I'm gonna make this overlapping. So we got this background. Let's make our footer. Now, because this is the footer, normally I would I'll put this CSS in my global styles, but I'm just going to keep it here for now. Let's get rid of this. Let's just keep it together for now. So footer, all right. So we got our blue. Let's just give this 90, just because I feel like it needs it. So we're gonna do footer and background, that color. So we got that. I want border top. That is 12. It's a 12 pixel. So we can either, there's a couple ways to do it. We can use a pseudo element, but border top is so much easier. Border top, 15 pixels, solid. All right. But on mobile, that seems like a pretty thick border, so we're gonna chop that to like 8. I think it's better. Okay, so we got our logo that we want centered and in the center up here. So that's going to be making it a absolutely positioned element. So since it is absolutely positioned in the footer, this is our little our logo inside the A tag. So it is a link. I got a label. I don't have a class, so foot logo. Now let's position relative so that we can absolutely position the foot logo. What the heck happened here? Come on, right? Maybe I should look at the screen a little more when I type. So we're going to position absolute. And we are going to left 50%. It's just so much easier. Transform, translate X, percent. So that will be centered. And how tall are you? 295. So let's say top 150, so about half. So you see, it's about halfway. I think that looks good enough. So now what we got to do, so since it's overlapping, what we need to do is on the testimonial section, we need to add a padding bottom to kind of counteract this space that's being taken up by the logo. So padding bottom, so if it's up 150, we want 50 pixels border, so we're going to do 200. Okay, so that's how that works. And since we got the padding bottom for that, now it's overlapping this. So now we have to go into our footer and do a padding top of 200. And that gives us our space down here. So now we got this overlapping element, but that's too big. I think it's too big. So we're gonna go back to this guy. So it's almost 300 wide. Let's try 250. Mm, 200. Why are you going? Oh, that's right. Let's see. That's the image. It's the A. So the image is not obeying the size. So I should do this. There you go. Yeah, for some reason it was its width was breaking its container. The A tag, which was 200. So I had to set its width explicitly to be 100% of its container, and that fixed it. So now that we have this new height of 200, top should be 100. So that's kind of in the center. And then this padding bottom 150, and then padding top 150. So that it's not as overpowering, and we kind of want that. We want that border right here, right? We want to see that. So we make this smaller so that we can see a little bit of the sides, so it doesn't feel too crowded. And I like that, you know, it fits within this button right here, like the width. So this feels a lot better. You know, especially when you're going from desktop to mobile, it's okay to make things smaller or fit things however you need to make it look fine. You don't have to stay with the same sizes for desktop. You know, make things smaller. Do what you need to do to make mobile look good. So now we just got to finish these guys, and I don't think we need to make them any smaller. So this is 22 pixels in white. So we got our contact group. We're going to do our contact group here. All right. Let's see. So I want my A tags to be color. Oh, there I go doing less again. Want a I work with less at my job, but I didn't get it configured for my personal setup. So color 1, 2, 3. All right, that's not a okay span. So then I also want to do, actually let's just make this, nah. So I gotta get the span in there. Let's make this inline block so I can do things to it. Or, because they're centered here. The phone number is next to Middleton. So, do I want to have them next to each other with that little circle in the middle, or? Well, first let's do on the contact group. Let's just center these really quick and see what it looks like. So I think that'll work. What I'm going to do to create that circle, instead of adding an extra piece of markup in here to make this circle, I'm just going to add it as a pseudo element that's positioned relative next to this phone number. Yeah, let's do that. Save me some markup. So we're going to do, actually let's copy this first. Let's do, I need to give this a class so I can target it more specifically. Phone. So I need this. Okay, so I want it to be, oh, got the wrong one. I used the border. There we go, overlay. I was wondering why there's a border in here. That border one just creates a pseudo element that's basically a box with an outline. So this one, our primary, I'm going to make it 5 pixels, height 5 pixels, width, border radius 50%, and here's the kicker, relative. Inline block, so it's next to it. Get rid of these values, don't need them. I don't need opacity. So it's an inline block, so I want it to be vertical align middle, so that it aligns in the middle of its line. And then margin 0 top and bottom, let's do 8 left and right. I forgot to do after. There we go. So you'll notice this. You'll see this a lot with inline elements, even though it's it's equal. You see this space here that you can't quite figure out why is there this space between this and this, even though there's nothing in between it in the markup, right? Well, this is just what happens with inline blocks when they're positioned next to each other. You get these gaps between them. So one of the ways I found to remove this gap is you have to sit them right next to each other. So you come up to your markup, and instead of being on a separate line, just take it, backspace. You see how there's no gap now? Let's do this too, just for some measures. So this is what you would do if you don't want any more gaps between them. So when I save, you notice that gap is no longer there. So when you're dealing with inline blocks and you have to sit them next to each other, and you just can't get rid of that space that's between them, right next to each other, you know, bumping up. There's no gaps, there's no separate lines. They're literally just one. So if I took off, see, I took off my formatting, so that literally they're just one long line of inline block elements placed next to each other. That's how you do it. So Alt Z formats it so everything fits within the window. But that's what it looks like, and that is probably that'll be your tip for the year, basically. That took me so long to finally figure out that was the issue. So I spent probably 2 years of developing before I even figured out that was the fix for that. So enjoy. And then we got our, let's get back out here. So now we got our navigation, which we have centered horizontally. So what we're going to do is we're going to center them vertically. And we need to get rid of this list stuff. So where's it at? UL. So we're going to do footer UL. LI. We need to get rid of that list style. None. Gone. We want color white. Okay. We want to make them block level elements so that they take up the, their content box takes up the entire width. And I want the text inside to be centered. If I can type. God, it's so late. Text align center. And I want to get rid of the underline. Text decoration. None. No, that's right. Because there's A tags in here. So this is our LI UL. So we want to take off that padding that is on all ULs. So that centers everybody. So the color and the text decoration, that's actually going to be, I forgot, we got link tags in there. So we're going to go LA, color, 1, 2, 3, text decoration, none. No, we don't want it to underline. Boom. There's that. So they are actually 22 pixels. But that doesn't look right. I don't know. Does that look right? I don't. Well, let's try. Let's give them some space. Margin bottom. Let's do 15 pixels. And contact group. 50 pixels. Yeah. It just doesn't feel right, actually. What are these? 16. What are they here? 22? Oh, they're 22. Okay, so let's do oh, that is tight. That is very close. So this is mobile. I don't think we need to have these big font sizes. So let's get rid of these. This feels better. You see how the big ones, it just felt clunky when I made them. So let's undo this. So font size 22. This just feels clunky. It's too big. These are close to the edges. If you see this should tell you that this is too big. And on mobile, this just doesn't look right. Honestly, it doesn't feel right. So when we take away the font size, when we do 16, I think this is what it is. So much better. If like we made this smaller, so we can make this smaller too. And then finally, we do my little blurb. So mine's like 12 pixels. So let's do this. So we need a padding bottom actually here on the footer. 50 pixels. We need that buffer. Actually, it's too much. 30. That, yeah, feels better. And then what is this? Let's call this credit. So I'm going to do footer. And that is, okay, so that's going to be color white. We're going to text the line, center, font size 12. And then we got to target the A tag inside of it. And I want that to be primary. I don't want it to be underlined. And again, we're running into that problem because spans are not block level elements by nature there, and now they're centered in on one line. So I want this to actually be on the next line. So we're going to set this display block to set it on its own line, just like that. And I think these line heights aren't. Let's do line height 12 pixels. That brings it closer. Yep. And then I want more space. So this has 50 pixels as opposed to 15. So, and that's just from the LI. So 15. So I need to make this 35 top. Margin top 35 pixels. That's just math, you know, just to keep these spaces right here. These should be equal, right? That just makes good design sense. So, designed and developed by Okara Web Designs and Okara Web Designs. I am forgetting my copyright 2021. So I guess I put that underneath. So another span within a span. I'm going to call this copy. Footer.credit. And footer.copy. Except we're also adding a margin top to copy, so I guess it'd just be easier just to make this. But this looks weird. Let's not make this display block. Okay, that feels, yeah, I guess that feels better. I can live with this. A little space here. I think I can live with that. So, I mean, we also got these circles. I'm wondering if that's really even needed. Because we have this circle here, so if we put more circles up here, that's just too many circles. It's crowded. And if we put them down here, they don't show up anywhere else in the footer, so it looks unbalanced. So I think we just go without we don't have bubbles on this. No bubbles. I mean, if you're a fan of the bubbles, I'm sorry. If you got attached to the bubbles, we just can't use them here because we already have this circle shape. And the reason it works here is because they're so far apart from the from this circle shape. Like they're in their own section over here, so it's totally cool. But once you're like operating in this kind of a space, it's just too many. It's too many circles. So I think we omit them. We don't need them. But this this is it. This is small mobile, so this is for iPhone 5 SE, 320 pixels wide. So now we got the smallest phone size possible done. Let's go on to our regular size. Let's see what a 5 or a 7, 5, 6, 7, 8. So everything looks fine. These guys are, their max widths are keeping them within their containers really nicely, so they're not stretching. This guy's staying where I want it to. They're filling in. These are filling in. This is filling in. So yeah, this works. So while we started on, we started on small 5S, it's still translating pretty well to bigger screen, except for this damn thing. As much as I like it, I don't know if I can keep it. Because as the screen gets bigger, I'm going to have to write more media queries to deal with this. So, while it's done, so I just have to do display none on it and hide it for now. Unless I'm wondering, why is it that? So this is 320. Why is this? Oh, it's the folly of responsiveness. So as you can see, as these get bigger, they're making the container bigger, which is throwing off the position of these. So what if, okay, so here's the position. So what if instead of top 55, what if I also did it by percentage? I don't know, it's going to be 30%. Oh, silly me. I tried to save. Okay, 30. 70. No, I want to do negative 50. Okay, so if I have that, okay, 8%, let's see if it stays. No, it doesn't stay. Come on. All right. So I have to give up something. I either give up the responsive images or I give up the pretty things on the side. And honestly, they don't really add a lot of, I don't think they add anything, so. Testimonials, portfolios, so we're just going to go to top. Let's go to the lines, display none, because, visual hierarchy. What is more important? Is it the images or is it the decorations around the images? I would rather have responsive images over this little design piece if I had to pick and choose. So we're going to do display none. We're going to remove them. And that way we have a responsive image section. And that's fine. I like how this stays where it's at. These grow and kind of stay relatively center. This pushes. So this is what response is all about. It responds to the change in screen size, right? So no matter what screen size someone looks at this, it looks proportional. However, these, I don't want them to get. See if these keep growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't like the way this looks, and this text is too long. So I guess what I want is this. What is this, 450? So I have a container class around almost everybody, I think. No, I don't. I'm not using container on some of these. So I think what I want to do, so that's one of the follies of not using containers, right? So I can set, let's see if I go to my core styles. Let's see if with 100%, let's see if I can add it to these guys. Max width 4, let's see, 450. So you see it cuts off here. Alright, so we got, because it's a max width of 450, so here's our 450, right? But it's doing that in all the sections, so that means we're losing on this side too, but we need to set the margin to auto on these sections so that it centers them, right? However, instead, because we don't have containers on everything, so it just does it for all of them. So what we want to do instead, let's take this, let's create our own class. So we're going to do let's do a wrapper, and that's where we'll have this. So in all our sections that we want to contain everybody, so not the landing, but on services, wrapper, see, there's that. So wrapper, we want it on the next one, pricing, and see the wrapper class, it gets added to the section and it contains everything. You don't want it there. So let's see, did I save this? Experience. Okay, where is this coming from? Okay, so this is in painting. Okay. Now I just gotta figure out why this is doing what it's doing. Oh, because it's part of painting, so I have to take this pseudo element right here, and I need it to go further to the left. I want to make it go. Let's do 500. Okay, so that's going to be in instruction, experience, painting. So that's going to be in the before. There you go. 200. 200. That's right. Now that goes all the way that way. Hill. Oh, we have a max width. So that's an experience. So I want to see this get. I want to see this get. I want more space. So let's do hill max width. Let's do a 390, and then 390 on the overlay. There you go. I like that. That space is a little better, but it can be better. 400. I can live with that. Okay, so now we're going to go to renovation. So that's experience. We don't need to do anything with that. Construction. Yeah, that's that. Contain that. That's fine. So we need to do process. Class equals wrapper. Contain the process. So that way, you know, they kind of stay with a nice aesthetic looking shape instead of going wider and wider indefinitely until the next size. Portfolio is fine. Testimonials. Wrapper. See, it keeps everything contained. And I don't like this, so I gotta go back to my footer. So the way we fix this is, so this, like this contact group, I'm actually going to, I need to set a specific width on it so that it makes these jump on a different line. So let's do, I'm going to do margin auto left and right so that when I do make it smaller, it's centered. I want to put it before this margin bottom, because if I did margin auto after margin bottom, it would reset the margin bottom because it's the last one to say something. So like if this margin auto was down here, it would override what's above it for margin bottom. It would set it to auto, which is basically 0. So let's set the width to, shoot, I don't know, 300? Yeah, that'll do it. Just to keep that on 2 lines. So that feels good. I like that. See, I like this much better. These are tiny screens. This is fine. You know, they brush up pretty good. And then when we get into our bigger screens, right? I don't know who's on a 500 pixel whatever, but you know what? If they're on it, guess what? It's not stretching. And you notice this guy right here, he's not moving. That's that left 50%, margin left negative, whatever. It holds its position. So I like this. So even on this size, even on 747, we're looking good. So I think this covers us all the way up to tablet, which is 768. And I think I'm going to do a couple things different for tablet. So that'll be on the next one. So this will be a tablet. We need to fill in our space on tablet. So that'll be in the next videos. Hopefully this was enlightening and informing. It's 4 a.m. and I'm going to sleep. So thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully this is helpful in some way.